All right. So
Yep.
we're gonna start off with the black church one first.
I see Cairo. What's
Hey,
good,
Todd.
Cairo?
How are
Yeah,
you? I haven't seen you
I'm
in so
good.
long. It's good to see you.
Likewise, same here. Good to see you. Yep.
Yeah. I always ask about you. I always ask Jamie about you.
I appreciate that. That go both ways too. How New York City treating you up there?
I love New York. I love the
Me too.
culture. I love the diversity. I mean, I love it.
Yeah, same here. Yep. I spent 3 years up there. I stayed in the Harlem section of New York, Uptown, when I was there for the 3 years. Yep.
I love Harlem. It's so much culture. The only thing that I don't like about New York is the winter.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Definitely don't miss that. Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
They say
but
it ain't enough fashion in the world to make up for how cold or what they call it up there, how brick it be. That's that
It's
New
a
York
different
slang.
type of cold because I'm from the South, so I'm used to like New Orleans cold, California cold, but New York cold is like an Antarctica North Pole cold. I wasn't prepared for that. I was like, what the
Right.
hell? You know. But other than that, I mean, I like it.
Oh yeah.
okay. So we're already
OG.
behind. So let me go ahead and do the introduction to somebody.
All right.
Oh, welcome everybody. Appreciate you again, once again, for another segment of Black Chat Chronicles. You already know majority of the panel and stuff like that. We got 4 new hot topics like usual that we're gonna dive into. We're going out of order this time, but you see the first one up there. I just know that I put spiritual sport. I don't know how autocorrect must have did that, but that should say portals. I don't know how it says sports, but it's spiritual portals. So y'all gonna have to bear with me on that error that is portal. Anyways, then we're gonna dive into the black church, whether or not that has been a benefit or a hinder to the black culture. And next, we're going to dive into how AI, which is basically the future, and how that's going to affect us. And lastly, your boy Donald J. Trump and what he's been doing and how that's going to affect. So that's our 4 topics that we're going to be touching on this today, and we're going to start off with what's Sunday best. Everybody in church right now. A lot of us in church right now. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna start off with the black church in here in Black America and how that is affected. Now, as we know, what is that noise? Goodness gracious!
Just that. Yeah.
But as we know, the black church has been in our culture for a very, very long time, and everybody's asking about that clicker, and I don't, bro. I have no idea what that is. I guess for now, let's try to go on mute if you're not speaking right now because we can kind of avoid a lot of that noise like that way. I'll go ahead and do it because I think that's where it's coming from. Honestly, I think it's Todd's side that's coming from. Yeah, I don't hear it no more. Yeah, it's coming from his side for some reason. But anyways, said somebody sound like somebody's phone is tapped. But yeah, so like I say, a lot of us are in church right now. And, it's been in our culture for a very long time. And some, have started to pull away from it, and some still religiously go to it. So we're going to touch on whether or not we think it's a benefit or a flaw or a major hinder. Whether, if the black church is a good thing or a bad thing, basically. So With that, Cairo, with this being your first time on the platform, I'll give you the first crack at it. I know you better go in on it, so y'all embrace yourself right now because she's about to really attack the black
I'm
church.
not about to seriously attack anybody. I'm gonna just talk about my experience.
Okay, so Cairo, go ahead and introduce yourself too as well. If you want anything you want to share.
Hi, I'm Cairo. Thank you, Jamie, for having me as a guest. And I have a little esoteric knowledge, and I'm just gonna talk about the things that I'm comfortable talking about with. And I don't mean to offend anybody. I explained to Jamie earlier, I have to be consciously aware who I talk to and who I have conversations with, because some people are shallow, and some people get offended by the truth and they will try to attack you. But everything that I like to talk about, I like to support it by facts. So they actually can go back, research, and see for themselves, you know. So I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm just trying to talk about my experiences.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get your take on it. What is your opinion on the black church? Do you feel like it's a benefit or a hinder that
I
has
feel
been
like it's a major hinder.
okay? And so go ahead and explain your side of it. Why you feel that way.
I feel it's a major hinder because you can manipulate the people through church, you know, and a lot of people are followers. The 90%, they're not consciously aware. That's why I ask Christians all the time when they try to come to deliver me a message. Um, well, what is church? What does that mean? What's the origin of that word? And they don't know. They can't even explain, like, where did it come from? And retrospectively speaking, what did our ancestors worship, or who did they revere before Jesus? you know so I have these type of questions, and I'm condemned. I'm scolded. So I don't want to go too much in on it because I don't want to offend people. And Jamie, you know this. I wasn't raised in a conservative or orthodox home. My grandparents are from Haiti, and I was raised in New Orleans, and we had to go in there and communicate with the ancestors. It wasn't no Jesus or none of this, in my home. And a lot of people are Christians, and they get offended by this, and they want to demonize you. So, this subject is like sensitive for certain people. So I just want to, because I can go in on it, but I just want to get it from, like, because everybody have their own different perspectives. And I'm respectful, I want to hear other people's perspectives. So, I mean, Jamie, you can ask some questions like, what do you want to know? Because I don't want to go too deep and offend people, offend Christians.
Okay,
Because,
so
like,
look,
wait, can I pivot back to what Taj was saying earlier? When you and the young lady was having a conversation about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, about religion, and on the movie when you said, because see, the elite, they know. When the movie when Malcolm X was like, get your hand out my pocket,
Right.
that was referring to capitalizing, because the government knows that Christianity make money. My uncle was a preacher. I know, and he don't believe in this stuff, but he said, niece, there's nothing wrong with Jesus. Jesus keep people, having morals. If they want to buy Jesus, sell it to them. So that's the whole thing when they
okay,
came into church. Because you remember when Malcolm X went over there to Mecca and he was talking to, the prince and the king over there, and they was trying to bring Islam over here. And the Pope got a hold to that. And the Pope was like, because uh Catholicism monopolized all of this religion. So when they saying, oh, we're gonna bring Islam, and introduce that to America, the Pope like, hold on, because women in Islam, they covered up from head to toe. They're not spending money on Victoria's Secret, they not spending money on Gucci, Louis Vuitton, so we're not making no money off of that. So when they came in the church to execute him, that was the line when they say, get your hand out my pocket. Because you can make money off of Christianity. You can't make money off of Islam.
You muted.
I'm not
Yeah,
muted.
yeah, right on. Nah, yeah, Jamie had me on mute. But no, that's very interesting. He said you can make money off Christianity, but you can't make money off Islam.
Yeah.
That's a mic drop right there. Right. No,
I
I
never
hear
thought
you.
about
Hey,
it
I'm
like
still
that.
listening. Huh?
But then you got to ask yourself with Christianity, right? Like I told you, capitalism monopolized that. So they tell us to do one thing, procreate, follow these rules. But I always ask myself, I've never seen a pope with a wife or a son.
Mm.
Well, that's
Yeah.
against being a pope. They're not allowed to have a wife.
But why? Why are you an exception when you forcing, us to procreate and us to follow these rules, but you are exceptions? Then you got to think about this. It's against what they do, but every time the Pope is caught up in a scandal, what is it from? Molesting a little boy. The whole occult, the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
clergy is an occult. The nuns, they bulldaggers. What woman don't want a man? What woman saving herself for God? We were created for men, so why don't you want one? Then you catching every time you hear a story about a nun, she caught with a sausage broke up inside of her. Well, who putting that sausage inside of her? That's
Dang.
why I told you. See, I don't want to go too much in on it because when I'm trying to explain to people, the clergy is an occult. They tell you to do one thing, but then they're doing a whole nother thing. How are you an exception, right? You tell us in the Bible, God put man here for woman and woman here for man. We supposed to procreate. What makes you an exception? And then when you get caught up, you get caught up for molesting a little boy.
Okay, Cairo. So you got a question. You got a question in the chat. I'm gonna highlight it for you too. It says, if you can't make money off Islam, why are they on the block selling bean pies and fruit and newspapers? Respectfully.
Well, I mean, look, bean pies, fruit, and newspapers, like you say, look what they selling. Bean pies and fruit. They not selling pork. They not selling steak. They not selling ham. And that's the other esoteric topic that we were supposed to talk to about before we got this.
Yeah, that is Nation of Islam, Ali. And I guess so. The Islam that you're speaking of, because that's different from AOI. Like the ones that be having the ones that be having the white Islam people. I think is what
No,
you're.
but this is what I'm saying though. Like to answer his question, I mean, when I say you can't make profit off of it like that, I'm talking about universally wise. Like, women, we big spenders. We spend a lot of money. You
Facts.
know what I mean? So a
Mhm.
lot of Christian women, they can go spend money on fashion. When do you ever see Muslim women that's covered up from head and to toe, in these stores buying Gucci, buying Louis Vuitton, spending money on hair weaves? Everybody's capitalizing off of these things. So if we practice Islam, we're not going to spend money on a lot of these fake ass weaves. We're not going to spend money on a lot of these racist fashion designers clothes, stuff like that. So when I say like you can't make money off of Islam, that's what I'm speaking about in those terms.
Okay. So somebody else want to take a crack at it? Share their opinion on it. Solo.
On the black church.
Yes, ma'am. What's your opinion on whether you feel is a hinder or a major benefit, or you can be in between?
Well, to me, I'm looking at it on whether or not they helping black people, whether they helping us build, right? So
That's
from
what
my
we're talking
perspective, right, from my perspective, we give them as a people a lot of money, and we don't see, well, I don't see the community building that I think that they should be producing if we're giving them so much money every Sunday through our tithes, right? So I get that you're supposed to take care of like the needs of the church, like the lights. If it need a remodel, they need to be able to afford that. But I also feel like that they should be doing more for the community, like we used to see back in the day, right? Like black churches used to be heavily involved in meeting our needs and like doing what we need them to do financing what we need them to finance. They had community programs. We could see the benefit from where our money went in the black church back then. Now I don't see the black church being very that much involved with our communities and building. So it just seems like we're still giving them the money, but we're not seeing anything come out of the black church that benefits the community. I'm not saying that they're not helping with a light bill here, helping with this, helping with that with their individual members. But as far as like creating something sustainable in a community that can change sort of people's predicament, things like that. Like, are you like, and this stuff that you can maybe even have volunteers. Like, are you helping students tutor? Like, are you helping with tutoring? Are you providing childcare? Are you providing jobs? Like, what are you sort of providing to the community with the money that we're giving you? So I don't see that. I see that with their individual people, but not necessarily like on a major scale. So I guess, especially when it comes to the mega churches, like when they have like churches like the ones that be in Atlanta. Now I was originally talking about like smaller churches, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when we're talking about mega churches, I definitely expect more out of them, more out of the leaders, more out of the community producing. Like the guy in Atlanta, what's his name? Jamal Bryant, right? He got a mega church in Atlanta. I definitely feel as though he should be doing mass production of resources to the black community, given the money that he bring in. I also, I like again about the materialism stuff that goes on. I personally hate to cut on the TV and see mass mega church leaders standing in front of their congregation in like Gucci, Louis, Prada. That's just my thing. I just hate that type of like I don't like that. I think that it's a church. You're supposed to come looking presentable, and when you got on the signature Louis Vuitton shirt and these VLs everywhere, all over the shirt, I just find it to be very tacky, especially as you ask these people for money so you can keep your church going. So you know that part of it. Also, like if they're in there teaching Christianity, I got a huge issue with that. you know, so if that's what they're in there teaching, which a lot of black churches are in Black America, I have a huge issue with that. If any church isn't telling us the truth about us, about who we are and what we should be doing, I have issue with that. So, I'm pretty much done with the Christian church. I listen to camps for Bible study. So definitely a hindrance. Definitely isn't doing what they supposed to do. Definitely probably a money laundering scheme. All of that good stuff. Plus the religion. So I'm
Okay.
done with it.
And I definitely, agree with pretty much everything that you're saying because um it seems like for me, I guess I'll go ahead and get my full take on it. I think back then, you know what I'm saying, it was because this is the thing. You got certain people in the church that although what they're teaching is not necessarily the truth or not, that's really not what the biggest bothersome to me is what that's hindering that. Because like, folks gonna believe in what they believe in, regardless. But the thing is that I think the smaller churches actually believe it. The bigger churches know it's a lie,
Right.
but will continue to do it. Why? Because it's profitable.
Right.
And you got to think about it from this perspective. See, they asking you for 10% of the money that you made in church, right? Somebody want their tithes and they offering. Think about that. Tithes and offering. Tithes is you paying, that 10%. Offering is you giving whatever it is that you're giving. And then think about it. Uncle Sam is already taxing you 10%. And then if you're in California and shit like that, state, federal, all that shit, heavy taxes. Think about how much money is coming out of our pockets already. And we're already the poorest. Then how much money is coming out of our pockets because of the church too. Not only that, the time consumption that's coming from it too. And then think about it from this thing. It's hindering us also because it puts us in a state of mind. A lot of us, at least, not all, but a lot of us that are Christians. You know, it puts us in a state of mind where we think we're powerless to do anything, and we should just trust God, trust Jesus to
Right.
to work a miracle to fix it. When in actuality, the God within you you already have the ability to fix these issues. You were created with it. So that's another major thing that's stopping us. Like it even tells you in the Bible, ye are gods. You know what I'm saying? It tells you that. It tells you that you are the gods on this earth. So, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to solely keep praying and waiting on something to happen. Because I tell folks this all the time. Remember, God,
Where did he
the
go?
same people who put us in slavery gave you, Jesus. So think about this. If you're
I
praying
can't
to
hear him.
Jesus,
Puedes ver tu teléfono, por favor?
Mic
you
check.
can't.
Mic check. Go ahead, Jamie.
But yeah, like I was saying, if
Taj, I can't hear him. Where is he? I can't even see him.
Cairo says she can't hear you, Jamie.
I
no, she
see
can
him.
hear you.
Yeah, I can hear Jamie and I can hear
Oh, I
Cairo.
got my camera off. I can turn it back on.
There he go. Now I can see him, but I can't
Yeah, I
hear
turn
him.
my camera off. But
Cairo, can you hear Jamie now?
No, I can see him, but I can't hear him.
That's crazy. Jamie, say something.
everybody else can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I
Solo,
can't
you
hear
can
him
hear
at
me.
all.
I can hear you, Jamie.
I don't know why you can't hear me.
Yeah, I
But
can't hear Jamie.
I don't know. But anyways, like I was saying,
Let
if
me see your phone, y'all.
you're praying to Jesus, and
Uh-huh.
the slave master is praying to Jesus as well. He can't answer both of you. It's
Good.
impossible because the slave master is praying, Jesus, please continue to keep these Negroes under my oppression so that I can keep benefiting and getting what it is I'm receiving. And we're praying for him to Lord, let this white man foot get off my goddamn neck. Look like to me that the foot is still on a lot of these niggas' neck. So you need to figure something out. And then like as far as I'm not gonna totally say it has no benefit. Let's go to the part where I think it does benefit us. The part where it does benefit us is that back in the day, see, it's the newer age churches that it has zero benefits now. But see, back then, at least it gave us morals. Like we had shame. Like you come into the church and stuff like that, you had ushers and mothers and deacons and their elders and stuff like
Taj,
that.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you,
We all
Cairo.
can hear you.
Okay.
But we had, you had that back in the day that when you getting out of line, they would check you on it. And they had shame. You know what I'm saying? They would tell you, hey, brother, pull your pants up. Why you sagging off like that? Don't talk to your mother like that. Don't talk to your dad like that. Respect your elders. You know what I'm saying? Sisters, you know what I'm saying? Don't just give it up like that. Have some dignity, have some respect for yourself like that. Wait for the right one. All kinds of stuff like that was done back then that was beneficial at that, and that we was able to like follow. At least we did have that. But now all the churches are so accepting to anything. Like you got churches that allow hip hop in their church. Like they playing Snoop Dogg and shit like that in they goddamn church. They doing the dance moves of what these goddamn, celebrities and stuff are creating in the church. And that is crazy. And you got people that are defended,
Taj, can you hear
be
me?
like,
That,
yeah, we can
that was
all hear you.
Carl, you still can't hear Jamie?
At all.
Oh. All right. So
That is insane. I don't know why.
you should probably just have to go back and hear your part, and then because I can hear you, I can hear everybody. Can the audience can hear you, right?
Yeah, they can hear me. Because they would have been saying we
Mic
can't
check,
hear
mic
you.
check.
They can hear me.
Shout out.
But what I was saying is,
I don't even know how to do this.
so y'all can, yeah, they can hear us. They're saying it in chat. They
Wait,
can
I'm
hear.
gonna log out, then log back in.
Yeah, try that. But
Keep cooking,
now,
Jamie. Keep cooking.
yeah, I kind of lost my thought. What's my last one? Once that
Jesus and God supposed to be the same people. Why won't a pastor take money that say in Jesus we trust? When I was a kid and asked my pastor that, my mother said I was being rude.
All right, can you hear me now? Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I was saying though, that they, they actually had morals during those times, so that was the benefit, and folks actually believed in what they were teaching. Now it's more so just the prophets. Like I said, they got the celebrities doing shit like that, and then they're way too accepting stuff. They say ain't nothing wrong with the church having a little fun up in it. Yes, it is, because the Bible tells you, love not the world nor nothing in it. The things in it. It says that. That's what they're talking about with worldly things. You can't be bringing what the devil music and shit is doing up into the church and try to make it godly. That shit doesn't go together. So like, I think once upon a time, like I said, it did have those benefits, but like now the church is just cooked. So I think you better off at home, studying yourself and having your own relationship. Taj, you haven't went yet. So hold on. Let me read what DeMarcus said myself too. Hold on. If Jesus and God supposed to be the same people, why won't a pastor take money that say in Jesus we trust? When I was a text my pastor that my brother said I was being rude. I never thought about that, but hey, I mean they don't print it though, but it's a reason why they don't print it like that. Okay, Robert Tucker, you said praise Christ Jesus forever, believe in Christ Jesus to receive eternal life right now. Got you. And yes, glad I was probably the last generation of the true old church. Yeah. The power universe is a godly thing in professional sport too, not just music. I agree with you. Nah, I mean, you ain't got no pushback from me. I agree with you 100%. I don't bring, this is the thing, I don't bring that shit into the church. Why? Because I don't go to that motherfucker. So you ain't cooking me with that. I guess for other people. But Taj, go ahead and give your take on it.
Yo.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, cool. Yeah, the common denominator with all major religions is morality, values, character. Your personality and character are different. So those are the benefits. But if we're talking numbers, the numbers don't lie, especially after the pandemic. It pretty much, the church numbers are dropping, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do to sort of try to revive what's going on. But the numbers speak for themselves. People, as you said, Jamie, key point, that a personal relationship with life, that's my term for God. I call God life, because in every religion, that's what it leads to, so the creator of life. And that's what it's good for, just morality, knowing how to behave, and whatever. But the main point, my closing point, would probably be using belief, faith as the key. So belief is the key, But that's dealing with the life. Whether if you believe, when you take your last breath, do you expect that spiritual light to come back on after you exit your body? These bodies, these human vehicles we operating. So that's to each individual. Fortunately, we do live in a country that grant us the freedom of faith. That's the First Amendment. Nobody can force anybody to believe something they don't want to believe. But to answer your question, the benefit would be just if somebody has been trying it the wrong way for decades or years and they want to clean up their life, it does provide some sort of morality that you can find in every major religion. Judaism, what is it? Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Those are the major three, and you get to Buddhism and everything after that. So that's it. You can't go wrong with the morality. Everybody needs to know how to carry this world and behave, and you can get that from whichever belief system resonates in your soul. I conclude with that.
Definitely agree with that. Like that's like I said, I think that's the real major benefit today that you can still gain from it. Because that's part of the reason why these quote unquote YNs are so out of control now, because they don't have no morals because they weren't taught them. Solo, you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna just add, if you was to ask me, about, I guess, the one benefit, I would say that I am sort of happy that it has at least kept our people in connection with the Bible. That we haven't, a lot of us haven't completely thrown the Bible away. Where it's not a part of us. I guess the Black church has sort of done that. Like, a lot of our people still have Bibles, even though we may be led astray. Once we open it, once we start reading it, the Black church is gonna immediately turn us astray, right? But at least we still have a connection with the Bible. We ain't read it, obviously. We don't understand what we're reading. We're just again taking what the Black church is giving us and reading those scriptures over and over again until we feel encouraged or inspired, right? But we're not actually going through the book and listening and reading the story of those people. So I just added, if we had one benefit, it would be that at least a lot of us still have the Bible app on our phone. Like, at least some of us at least got the paper version of the Bible, and we're not scared of the book or throwing it away. But other than that, that's it.
Jay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna touch on what Ali is saying real quick here. And basically that is the truth. Like, is most of the texts and stuff like that folks be arguing about, it basically be saying the same shit. It just got a different person who they think is the God or is the Messiah or whatever. But it's basically saying all the same thing. So all the kicking, the fussing and stuff that they be doing about it be really pointless. Like, the Quran is saying the same shit the Bible is saying. So is Hindu. So is what's another one of these goddamn? They all saying the same shit, bro.
It's the reason, if I could jump in on that real quick, it's the reason from the beginning of this country they separated church from state, because they didn't want all of those religious arguments in the hallways of power where they need to vote to make decisions. So what they did was they just extracted all of the as you said, the common interests. Okay, here's the moral values all of you guys agree on. And then the government adopts that and then move forward and give you the freedom to believe what you want to believe. And that's the current world we living in right now. But to everybody's point, I've learned from everybody. I'm gonna definitely go back and make sure I hear it, because I had to due to the technical difficulties, I didn't get to hear all of Cairo's points. So I'm gonna go back and hear everything she said. But Cairo, remember, Bible is acronym. You know this already. Bible is acronym for basic. I'm putting emphasis on basic instructions before leaving earth. And then after that, just like in academic class, just like in public school or any schools we went to, it's time to, we as students of life, we have to elevate from a basic understanding. And that's what a lot of us do. So after I left the basic instructions, and I'm still on earth, I haven't left earth yet, at least not my body, I went more into science. You see what I'm saying? So because I wanted to be able to measure and prove my what I'm sharing with people. And so I go as far as I can go with measurement, with being able to prove that things are real. And then anything that you can't measure, you have no choice but to activate belief, faith, and your confidence and whatever that spiritual entity is.
So Taj, this is my question, right? Why I feel like the Bible is a hindrance and it keeps people docile. Retrospectively speaking, the primates were way more advanced than we are now. And they didn't have a Bible. They didn't have Jesus. It's wonders that was created that we still trying to figure out. Well, people that has esoteric knowledge, they know, but the ones that don't, they still trying to figure out why were they created and what was the purpose.
Right.
So that's my only concern. I'm just saying our ancestors were way more advanced than we are today. And they didn't have the Bible and they didn't have.
Which are you okay name dropping some civilizations that you referring to? So I know Egypt is one of them.
The Aztecs, the Mayans, the Incans, to generalize. So I'm talking about these civilizations, these cultures. They didn't have,
and they all and they all operated off of like a spiritual link to the universe, right?
I think they operated off of the Akasha records. They operated off science.
There you go.
Right? They operated off astrology, astronomy, mathematics. Because this is facts. If you go and you study a lot of these things, it's all written on the hieroglyphics. So they operated off of science. That's like you spoke earlier, you measure things. What about things that's counterintuitive? Can those be measured?
Give me an example of counterintuitive. What's an example of that?
Supernatural deities.
We dealing with that now with the science phenomenon with the what we want to call them. Let's just call them the old school word, the UFOs. So that's
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you say counterintuitive, I'm talking about astral projection. That's counterintuitive. I'm talking about spirits. Those are counterintuitive. Can those be measured? I'm talking about entities that come through these portals and feed off of people, during the time of planetary alignment.
We're going to get into that right shortly. We're going to get into that.
I'm talking about that. That can be measured.
It could be measured in our biometrics, Cairo. It could be when I say bio.
I know what you mean when you say biometrics.
Let's start with the heartbeat.
I'm smarter than a fifth grader.
I know it, Cairo. So let's start with the heart. When I say biometrics, I mean like it's certain.
It operates off of energy, right? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it do. No, everything is energy. I mean, before the Big Bang was energy. That's the love force of energy that got us all here.
Let's say that for the next segment, though. Right. Y'all starting to go into the other segment. We're about to get there.
Oh, he was going into the circulatory system. I love anatomy.
The other segment. We're going to go to that. But real quick, let me address this comment here. He said, I no longer believe that the love of money is the root of all evil. I now believe that attention is the new root of all evil. People want to get money to get more attention.
If that's not a fact, that's the closest thing to it. That's
but that's why
the only thing I would change about that comment is that it's not a new thing. Remember, Lucifer got put out of heaven for craving too much attention. So before money came, money is a creation of man. That's why scriptures say you cannot worship money and the creator of it. You're worshiping what was created instead of worshiping the creator that made people to make money. Take it from there.
Yeah, so with that, you know, saying he's not lying at all. Literally, all these people doing, like, look at your celebrities and stuff. That's all they're feeding for.
Yeah, attention.
Like
Yes.
when they do these crazy rants and stuff like that, a lot of the shit, they don't even be believing it. They don't even, these publicity stunts, it's all for attention because attention pays. And the reason why attention pays is because the elites, the reason why they monetize, you know, who can get more, you know, draw more attention is because if you're paying so much attention to what it is they're doing, you're not paying attention to the moves they're making behind, you know, behind closed doors, like the shit that they're doing. You're paying attention to the Beyoncés of the world, the shit Trump, all these motherfuckers that really don't matter as much as y'all making them matter. That's why they get paid so much money to do the shit, because the attention is important to keep you distracted from what is important.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to touch on it before we move on his comment?
I just think that I think the end goal is always going to be money. I think people use getting attention to make money. So it eventually ends up at, I just want some money.
Sure.
And I'm going to use the attention to get it.
But they go together though, is basically what he's saying. Because think about
it. One predates the other.
The only reason why he want you, whoever it is, woman, man, don't matter. The only reason why you want, especially man, you want the money is because it's going to attract the attention from whatever it is you want, whether it's women, you know what I'm saying? Most of the time,
that should be a fact.
That's pretty much what it is.
That should be a fact. Yeah, yeah, especially for the fellas. That's why, yeah, we get money to attract.
I remember I was talking to a sister years ago. Charles, you familiar with this? When we was doing SRO and I was doing it for, well, Cairo, you're familiar too. We was doing World of Dance, right? And it was a sister that I was speaking to about, you know, money is only important to do because it attracts women. If it didn't attract women, they really wouldn't care about it. And she was just blown away, swearing up and down, thinking it's not true. And we asked 20 dudes that was in that same audience with us, and they all unanimously agree with me.
Yeah. But what type of people though? Because you got two type of people. You know, you got people that want money because they want to attract attention. Then you got people that have money that don't want nobody to know that they got money. They don't want attention. They just want the money because they want to enjoy the good things out of life. But you'll never know that they have money. They might come around you in some regular sweats, some old ass shoes, and could be multi-millionaires.
But I agree with you that you do have those small percentages, but most of them, I would say vast majority, what, you know, that's what like if they had the money, they gonna want it, because it's like goes back to what I keep saying. Niggas love to stunt on niggas. Niggas, most of them, you get them money, that's what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah, history shows that. But before we move on, can we all agree that the craving for attention predates the drive for money? You don't have to agree, but if you don't, I would like, before we move on, I would like to hear why. Because attention, before money came into the hands of man, attention was there. And attention is dangerous. And Cairo, back to our conversation, it could be measured. At current times, you can measure attention by first conversation with the person wanting more attention than they're willing to say in a conversation. They want you to pay attention 15 minutes, and then when it's your turn to speak, they might only grant you 3 to 4, if that. So that's like what I mean, like a measurement of, okay, this is not a fair quid pro quo here. This person, and I'm speaking in general, this person think and feel they're entitled. Remember, attention is attached to energy. So this person is entitled to my currency of energy, my attention, more than they're willing to grant me. That's a measurement.
But it's categories though. Like, for example, you have some people, they don't, that's why I'm like, I don't know, maybe I fall into that category. I can't like rationalize it because I never been the type of person that craved attention. Like, I hated attention. You know what I mean? I hated it. I don't know why. It was just something that was intuitive. I never wanted it. Like, I never wanted it from boys. Like, still to this day, I hate dress up. I don't like to dress up because I'm like, damn, I don't want nobody. I don't want that attention. You know what I mean? I don't want that attention. So that's why I say you have people that fit into different categories. It's categories of everything. And I fall into that category. But like I say, everybody's perspective is important. You know, I'm looking at it from your perspective because we could be in an art gallery. You see the Mona Lisa, I see it. You see one thing, I see a completely another thing. I'm not going to dismiss it because I don't understand it. I want to understand why people crave attention. I personally never been one of them people that create attention. Like you spoke earlier when you say personality versus character. Now, my character, you know, it's like it's moral. It wants that, you know, like maybe I should do this. But then my personality, I'm like, well, that's not me. You know what I mean? My personality is like I'm shy, like I'm tomboyish. I want to be, you know, conservative. So maybe, you know, I'm battling with that. Like my character is one thing, but my personality displays something completely different, you know, and I want to learn why people crave this attention. I want to see it from their perspective. I just never been one that craved it.
I hear that.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say this, Cairo, you're a very rare breed because most women love the attention. That's all they live for. Like the ones that be sitting, that, to be honest with you, I would say a lot of the ones that are single and stuff like that, that are single for a long period of time. If I think if attention didn't exist, that like they lives would, really tilt over. Go ahead.
Oh, God to attention.
Breaking up bad.
Where you go? There you
Most
go.
crave validation. That's the root of it. I was gonna mention that word validation. So that wouldn't apply to you, Cairo, because you don't even crave it. But people who do crave attention, I think that is a form of validation for them.
I'm
So
gonna say this.
we still on the black.